Sam was always the type of person who believed in chasing his dreams. From a young age, he had big ambitions to build a successful career, travel the world, and make a difference. He had the drive, the determination, and the skills to achieve everything he wanted. But life, as it often does, had other plans. After years of hard work and dedication, Sam found himself at a crossroads. The job he had spent years trying to land, the one he thought would be his breakthrough, fell through at the last minute. The company he had dreamt of working for decided to go in a different direction, and Sam, despite his best efforts, was left with nothing. His dreams, which had once seemed so close, now felt impossible. Feeling utterly defeated, Sam spent days in his apartment, staring out the window, overwhelmed by a sense of helplessness. The world seemed to be moving forward without him, and he felt like he was being left behind. He couldn't escape the feeling that he was running out of time, that everyone around him was on the path to success while he was stuck in place. His mind replayed every decision he had made over the past few years. Maybe he had taken the wrong path. Maybe he wasn't good enough. Maybe he had waited too long to make a change. Each of these thoughts spiraled deeper into doubt. He had worked so hard for something that now felt meaningless. He had built his identity around his career, but now that it was gone, he felt like a shell of the person he used to be. The dreams that had once been so clear and vivid now seemed like distant memories, impossible to reach. The future no longer held the excitement it once did. Instead, it felt like an overwhelming wall he couldn't scale. Sam's friends tried to console him, offering advice, but nothing seemed to make him feel better. Some told him to just keep pushing forward, that it would get better with time. Others suggested he try something different, but Sam didn't know where to begin. Every option felt like a leap into the unknown, and he was terrified. What if the next decision was just as wrong? What if the change he needed would only make things worse? At night, when the world was quiet and his thoughts were loud, Sam would lie awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling like he had no direction. The fear of making the wrong move paralyzed him. What if he was stuck forever in this cycle of disappointment and uncertainty? Sam couldn't shake the feeling that he was meant for something greater, but he didn't know how to reach it. He started avoiding the people who asked about his job search, pretending everything was fine when deep down he was lost. He was afraid of admitting to others, especially himself, that he was unsure of what to do next. How could he, someone who had always been so sure of his goals, be so completely lost? How could he, someone who had always taken control, feel so powerless? Sam's inner world was consumed by this confusion, and it felt like it was closing in on him. In those moments of isolation, Sam realized something important. He was afraid of change. One afternoon, as Sam walked through the park, lost in his thoughts, he bumped into someone he hadn't seen in years, his old mentor, Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris had been a teacher during Sam's college years, someone who had always pushed him to think bigger and challenge his limits. They exchanged greetings, and before long, Sam found himself telling Mr. Harris about everything that had happened in the last few months, the job loss, the overwhelming uncertainty, and the fear that had taken root in his heart. Mr. Harris listened patiently, nodding as Sam spoke. When Sam finally finished, there was a long pause before Mr. Harris spoke. "Sam," he said slowly, "I understand your fear. It's natural. But do you know what holds most people back in life?" Sam looked up, eager to hear what his mentor had to say. "It's not failure," Mr. Harris continued. "It's the fear of change. People get stuck because they don't want to move out of their comfort zones. They cling to what's familiar, even if it's not working for them. But what you don't realize, Sam, is that change is what pushes us forward. It's the only thing that leads to growth. Sam stood there, absorbing the weight of those words. For the first time in a long time, he felt a glimmer of understanding. His fear of the unknown, his resistance to change, had been holding him back, not just from success, but from the life he was meant to live. Mr. Harris smiled and placed a hand on Sam's shoulder. "You're not lost, Sam. You're just at a turning point. Embrace it." That conversation became the turning point Sam so desperately needed. It was as though a light bulb went off in his mind. He realized that the reason he had felt stuck was because he had been so focused on avoiding change, on holding on to the past, that he hadn't been open to new opportunities. The job he had lost wasn't the end, it was simply a closed door, signaling that there was something else waiting for him, something better. He couldn't see it yet, but he knew that he needed to start looking for it. Over the next few weeks, Sam began to take small steps toward embracing change. He updated his resume, researched new career paths, and even started networking again. Each day, he pushed himself a little further outside his comfort zone, and each step, no matter how small, built his confidence. The more he embraced the unknown, the less he feared it. In fact, he started to feel a sense of excitement that he hadn't felt in months. It was as if he had rediscovered a part of himself that had been buried beneath the weight of his doubts. Then one day, Sam received an unexpected phone call. A company he had always admired, one that aligned perfectly with his values and goals, had seen his resume and wanted to interview him. He couldn't believe it. It was the opportunity he had been waiting for, the one that seemed out of reach just a few weeks earlier. As he prepared for the interview, Sam realized how far he had come. His fear had turned into motivation. The uncertainty that had once paralyzed him had become the driving force that propelled him forward. The interview went well, and soon after, Sam was offered the job.